Governor Anne Waiguru of Kirinyaga delivered a message, a very strong message, to President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto after the Kiamba parliamentary by-election. That message by Anne Waiguru, in my view, should be taken seriously by both President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto. Let me read for you what Anne Waiguru is saying. Anne Waiguru, through a Facebook page post, is saying this. And I want you to pay close attention because this is going to form the basis of our analysis today. My view on what Kiamba results portend for 2022 presidential elections. In Kenya's electoral history, by-elections in Kenya have always been outliers with little or no relationship with the general election. Having said that, there are two warnings that could be extracted for both UDA and Jubilee from these by-elections. So basically, she's saying that there are two warnings which could be extracted for both UDA and Jubilee. She's proceeding. For Jubilee, it is that its core supporters are unhappy and urgent action is needed to forestall further downward slide. So basically, Anne Waiguru is suggesting that Jubilee supporters are unhappy. The question is, why is it that Jubilee supporters are unhappy? I'm going to explain that. And she's proceeding. For UDA, this is probably the best they will do in central Kenya. The outcome was 50-50. So Anne Waiguru is suggesting that UDA will not get beyond what they got in Kiamba. Probably will need to figure out. And I'm going to explain. That should worry DP, who needs 101% of Mount Kenya support if his candidacy is to convert to State House. But it is still a year before 2022 election, which is in politics a lifetime. I've been going through some comments on this wall, especially on this post by Anne Waiguru, and surprisingly, the supporters of the Deputy President William Ruto, our lovely Deputy President, are on her case. I don't know why. What Anne Waiguru is suggesting here is significant. Let us begin by the statement. Now, let us begin by the message which Anne Waiguru is sending to President Uhuru Kenyatta. According to Anne Waiguru, two things. Number one, President Uhuru Kenyatta's supporters are unhappy. The question is, do you agree with Anne Waiguru on that? Personally, 100%. The supporters of President Uhuru Kenyatta, especially from the larger Mount Kenya region, are unhappy with President Uhuru Kenyatta. Why are they unhappy? Is it the handshake? And if it's the handshake, what can President Uhuru Kenyatta do? Is it Raila Odinga? Because remember, these are guys who are told that Raila Odinga is a devil 4 times. 2007, 2013, 2017, they were told it twice. So they voted knowing so well that Raila Odinga is a devil. Then the president entered into the handshake. Could they be unhappy with the fact that the president is associating with Raila Odinga? So these are some of the questions which President Uhuru Kenyatta must seek solutions to. And I want to play for you this clip and listen very closely to what this gentleman is trying to say. Because this gentleman is very honest and is coming right from deep inside Kiambu.
Muguga. Kuna kitu moja nilisoma hapa. Ukaangalia vizuri watu wenye walikuwa UDA na watu walikuwa Jubilee, wote walikuwa na kibizana na kura zao. Unaona huyu mtu anaitwa, huyu tulikuwa tunachagua Muguga, anaitwa nani? Huyu Kawajiko, kaka Sigomada. Huyu Kawajiko alikuwa anaacha kalele jama na kula kidogo sana. Sasa watu wameanza kuoneshana hata tunaweza toka kwa Jubilee sisi wote tuende kwa UDA. Kwa sababu gani? Jubilee yote iliisha. Na ukiangalia mtu kama Uhuru aliacha sisi wa Kikuyu. Alitoka kabisa akatusahau akaenda saidia Raila. Na Raila hakuna mahali atakuja kumsaidia.
Na akirudi.
Sasa
akirudi
wapi?
Akirudi kwa nini?
Si atakuwa ametoka kwa nini?
Kwa?
Hatakuwa president, atakuwa ameondoka.
Akiacha Raila arudi mtamchagua?
Raila. Raila kwani anaweza chaguliwa na Wakikuyu?
Anauliza okay fine, hawezi chaguliwa na Wakikuyu, lakini Uhuru akiacha
sana, lakini sisi tunataka ya Uhuru alikiingia alisema Ruto 10 na yake 10.
Sasa nyinyi mnapiga tu 10 kwa sababu mliambiwa.
Acha turudishe Ruto na yeye afanye yake 10. Kwa nini anakuja kumruka sababu ya handshake? Ile kitu sababu amesalimiana na mtu, sasa anasahau vile waliagana na mtu wake.
The second message to the president is that urgent action needed. And again, I agree with Anne Waiguru. President Uhuru Kenyatta, Jubilee Party, and their supporters must figure out what they need to do in the short term and in the long term. If they don't do anything, then Jubilee is going to collapse. In fact, Jubilee, as a political party, celebrated the outcome in Kiambaa because they never imagined that they would even get what they got. But President Uhuru Kenyatta and his team must do a SWOT analysis. Look at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and the threats, and deal with it before it's late. Up to that point, I agree with Anne Waiguru. Then Anne Waiguru is going further to deliver a message to the Deputy President. And this message Anne Waiguru is delivering to the Deputy President have consistently pointed it out here. Let me just jog your memory. I've always said that for the Deputy William Ruto to become the President of the Republic of Kenya, he must get 80% of the larger Mount Kenya region. Consistently, the outcome of by-elections in central Kenya or the larger Mount Kenya region has been consistent. It has been consistently around 50% for Jubilee, either 45%, but it has been consistent like that. You look at London Ward, it was almost that. You look at Hellsgate, it was almost that. You go further in Muguga, Jubilee was ahead, but almost that. You go to even Kiamba, with exception to Juja. So the Deputy President must figure out how he's going to increase his support base. Because Anne Waiguru is saying that for UDA, this is probably the best they will do. That should worry DP, who needs 101% of Mount Kenya support if his candidacy is to convert to State House. Now, which takes me to a post by a friend of mine. I saw that post yesterday. This guy understands statistics the way you can understand your food. He's called Nixon Otieno. Nixon Otieno is suggesting here that Ruto has consistently performed well in all by-elections in Mount Kenya by winning seats by a margin of 50 to 53%. I've never been keen on that statistics, but for him, I think because that's his food, he understands it, and is proceeding that this is good opinion poll and reality on the ground. Statistically, it can be concluded that if elections were to be held today, His Excellency William Ruto will get 51% of all the Mount Kenya votes, a clear majority of the mountain region. As to whether he can win the presidency without 48.5% of Mount Kenya votes is another experiment. So he's suggesting that if elections were to be held today in the larger Mount Kenya region, William Ruto will easily walk home with 51%. So he's asking that he's not sure whether he can become president minus the 48%. He's proceeding. Again, we shall wait to see if he can maintain his 51.5% up to August next year in an environment where president will also hit the ground in person to campaign for his opponent. UDA should now work hard to increase their support from Mount Kenya region to at least 95% in order to be sure of clinching the seat. Of course, if the DP can get 95% from Central Kenya, that will be a sure bet. But will he be able to do that? That takes me to another post which I saw from Wambugu Gunchiri, and then I'm concluding with a post from another gentleman. Let me just open the post by Wambugu Gunchiri. There was something interesting he was saying, because remember, after the Kiambaa by election, the UDA guys were claiming that Jubilee was able to get 50, or I mean 49, 50, was it 49% in Kiamba because of the candidate, Kirinyaga, that he was a very strong candidate. In fact, up to this point, Jubilee, the UDA supporters believe that if Kirinyaga had agreed to run on its ticket, he would have managed 90% of the votes. That the 50%, the 49% they got was because of his individual effort. But Wambugu is saying the thing that's confusing the narrative for UDA is Mogoga. They are happy to say that Jubilee got 50% of Kiambaa votes because of Kariri. And I agree that Kariri is a solid guy who deserved the seat. Then you ask them how Githinji also got 50% under Jubilee in Mogoga ward, and they go mute. So which means consistently, the performance of Jubilee has been around that 45%, 50, something like that. And that should worry the DP. Let me get you another post by a gentleman I used to follow a lot during this by-election. It's called Joseph Githu. Joseph Githu is making a very interesting revelation. And there's a friend of mine on this platform. I think I've always told him that personally, I thought Jubilee was dead in the larger Mount Kenya region, that UDA was going to have it easy in Kiamba. Now, Joseph Githu was actively involved in this campaign, especially for Jubilee. And I used to follow him. This is what he's saying. When we went to Kiamba to drum support for our candidate, the popularity of UDA on the ground was 93.2%. I don't know where I got the figures from. Believe it or not, in Rwaka, and my friend Midambo Mushiri will bear me witness, we tried giving out Jubilee t-shirts and nobody wanted to even be associated with us. At Mukatha, I tried to give out a border reflector jacket, and the rider literally ran away. To be honest, selling Jubilee in Kiambaa then was like selling pork in Saudi Arabia. So selling Jubilee was not easy. That's the honest truth. Let's just face it. Jubilee was very unpopular going into this by-election. Of course, you can also suggest that UDA was also divided, which is true. And this guy is saying, but sisi ni nani? Gunjiri Wambugu came up with a dedicated team of hard workers. Eyes on the price coordinated by Giste Wakabiro. We worked on a coordinated messaging. I hit on social media. We went to the people in the villages and the discussions began. Literally, the question was, where did the rain start beating us? Now that's the question which the people of the larger Mount Kenya region are asking themselves. As long as they don't have answer to that question, then the deputy president is safe. But should they get an answer to that question, the DP should be worried. That's the honest truth. Sometimes we must take emotions out of politics and look at things from the face value. And he's saying, for the first 7 days, it was hitting the rock bottom to crack. And on the 7th day, we saw a breakthrough. We started building on it, and the hustler nation wave was demystified. We identified their weak point. We saw the cracks. We hit so well in a coordinated manner. On the 10th day, all the Jubilee members of parliament who were hibernating came back. The campaigns gained traction. The team was united. The objectives were clear, and we began to eat into the hustler nation. So basically, they are suggesting that they went into this by-election with UDA as a front runner. So they just started eating eating, and slowly by slowly. The truth is, if you follow this by-election in Kiamba, you will agree that Jubilee actually made a strong statement, I think, the last 10 days. Initially, they were, people really didn't really want to associate. Nobody wanted to take leadership of the campaign. They wanted to leave it to Kirinyaga until that point. And he's saying, in the following day, 14 days, the story was completely different. The ground had shifted, and we were ready to meet at the ballot. In fact, if you followed this guy, there was a time they were suggesting that they had actually won this seat. I'm just trying to see if I can get there. They had won this seat, but there's a mistake they committed, and that mistake is why Kirinyaga wanted to go to the court. That there were some polling stations where by 4 p.m. the turnout was actually at 40. But when the final results were announced, the turnout in those few polling centers increased to 70. So they were asking how that can be possible, that from morning to 4, the turnout is just 40, which is consistent with the rest. But ultimately, after the votes were counted, the turnout turned out to be 70% in those specific polling stations. And that's why they believe that the elections was actually rigged at that point. I don't know what you think, but Anne Waiguru's statement is a very strong statement. The president, his deputy should and must listen to. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day.